What truly makes someone a leader? Is it the title on the door, the corner office, the applause? Or is it something far less visible, far less glamorous, and far more powerful? Let me ask you something. When everything falls apart, when pressure rises, when no one is watching, who are you? That is where leadership begins. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Not in comfort, but in challenge. We live in a world obsessed with results. Promotions, followers, recognition. We scroll through highlight reels and wonder why our own progress feels slow. We chase influence before we build integrity. We want success without struggle, authority without accountability, and admiration without the inner work. But here's the truth. Leadership is not built on charisma alone. It is built on character. Character is what remains when the noise fades. It is the quiet decision to do what is right, even when it costs you. It is the discipline to show up when motivation disappears. It is the courage to stand firm when compromise feels easier. You may be watching this because you want more from your life. More growth, more impact, more purpose. You want to lead your family better, lead your team better, lead yourself better. But somewhere along the way, doubt creeps in. You question whether you are strong enough, capable enough, experienced enough. Here is something liberating. You do not need to be perfect to lead. You need to be principled. Think about the leaders who have left a lasting imprint on history. Consider Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison. 27 years of confinement, isolation, and injustice. Many would have emerged bitter, vengeful, hardened. Yet he walked out with dignity and chose reconciliation over revenge. That decision did not come from position. It came from character. His influence did not begin when he became president. It began when he chose integrity in the darkest season of his life. Or reflect on Abraham Lincoln. He faced repeated failures before ever stepping into the highest office of the United States. Business failures, electoral defeats, personal heartbreak. Yet he continued to refine his convictions, deepen his empathy, and anchor himself in moral clarity. When the nation fractured, it was his character, not merely his strategy, that steadied it. Here is what both stories remind us. Circumstances reveal character. Character sustains leadership. And here is the part that matters to you. Character is not reserved for historic figures. It is built in everyday decisions. The meeting where you choose honesty over exaggeration. The moment you accept responsibility instead of shifting blame. The late night when you prepare thoroughly, even though no one may notice. Success without character is temporary. Pressure does not create character. It exposes it. Your habits today write your legacy tomorrow. Maybe you have faced setbacks that made you question yourself. A failed project, a missed opportunity, a betrayal that shook your trust. It is easy to believe those moments disqualify you from leading. But what if they are shaping you instead? What if the very obstacles you resent are strengthening the muscles you will need tomorrow? Leadership is not about never falling. It is about rising with integrity. It is about choosing growth over ego. It is about aligning your actions with your values, consistently, quietly, and courageously. The world does not need more loud leaders. It needs more grounded ones. It needs individuals who are steady when storms arrive. People who listen before they speak, who admit when they are wrong, who honor their commitments, who understand that authority is earned through trust, and trust is earned through character. And here is something deeply empowering. Character can be developed. You are not trapped by your past mistakes. You are not defined by yesterday's weaknesses. Every day offers a new opportunity to choose patience over impulsiveness, discipline over distraction, service over selfishness. These small choices compound over time. They shape your reputation. They shape your relationships. Ultimately, they shape your destiny. If you aspire to build something meaningful, whether that is a company, a movement, a family, or a personal vision, your foundation must be solid. Talent may open doors. Skill may create opportunities. But character keeps those doors open. Ask yourself, who am I becoming in the process of chasing my goals? Am I growing in humility as I grow in success? Am I becoming stronger internally or simply busier externally? It is tempting to measure progress only by visible achievements. But the most important growth often happens beneath the surface. It happens when you forgive instead of retaliate, when you persevere instead of quitting, when you speak truth instead of convenience. This is not always easy. Growth rarely is. There will be days when you are misunderstood, days when your integrity costs you advancement, days when staying true to your principles feels lonely. But those are the very moments that define you. Because leadership is not about being followed by crowds. It is about being guided by conscience. Imagine a future version of yourself. Confident, respected, trusted, not because you demanded recognition, but because you consistently demonstrated reliability and authenticity. Imagine the ripple effect of that kind of leadership. The lives influenced, the culture transformed, the example set for those who look up to you. Your dreams require more than ambition. They require alignment between who you say you are and what you consistently do. So as we begin this journey together, understand this. The path to achieving your dreams does not start with strategy. It starts with substance. It starts within. In the next moments, we are going to explore a critical foundation that determines how you lead yourself before you ever attempt to lead others. It begins with understanding who you truly are, what shapes your decisions, and how your internal narrative influences your external impact. Because the quality of your leadership will always reflect the clarity of your inner world. Why do some people rise after failure, while others remain trapped by it? Why do certain individuals grow stronger under pressure, while others shrink? The difference is rarely talent. It is rarely resources. It is almost always awareness and perspective. Before you can lead a team, a company, or a community, you must first understand the person staring back at you in the mirror. Leadership without inner clarity is like steering a ship without a compass. You may move, but you will drift. Knowing yourself is not a luxury. It is a responsibility. Many people operate on autopilot. They react without reflection. They speak without intention. They repeat habits without questioning whether those habits serve their growth. And then they wonder why progress feels inconsistent. Pause for a moment and consider this. What triggers your frustration? What fuels your confidence? What patterns keep repeating in your relationships and decisions? If you cannot answer those questions honestly, you are navigating life blindly. Understanding your strengths is not arrogance. It is alignment. When you recognize what you do well, you can refine it. You can use it in service of others. You can lead from a place of authenticity instead of imitation. At the same time, acknowledging your weaknesses is not weakness. It is maturity. Denial keeps you stagnant. Awareness sets you free. Clarity creates confidence. You cannot improve what you refuse to examine. Growth begins where comfort ends. Think about Oprah Winfrey. Early in her career, she was told she was unfit for television news. She was criticized for being too emotional and too expressive. Instead of suppressing those traits, she examined them. She realized her empathy, her openness, and her emotional intelligence were not liabilities. They were strengths. By understanding herself deeply, she She transformed perceived weaknesses into a platform that connected millions of people. Or consider Michael Jordan. He was cut from his high school varsity basketball team. That moment could have defined him as inadequate. Instead, he studied his performance, identified his limitations, and committed to disciplined improvement. He did not merely practice harder. He practiced smarter, with self-awareness guiding his effort. The result was not just success, but sustained excellence. These stories are not about fame. They are about reflection. Transformation does not begin with changing your environment. It begins with changing your interpretation of it. Your mindset determines whether obstacles appear as barriers or as training grounds. When something goes wrong, do you ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Or do you ask, "What is this teaching me?" That single shift can alter the trajectory of your life. A strong inner framework is not built overnight. It is cultivated intentionally. It requires courage to confront uncomfortable truths about yourself. It requires discipline to reshape limiting beliefs. Here is a simple but powerful exercise. At the end of each day, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well today? Where did I fall short of my standards? What will I adjust tomorrow? Write the answers down. Do not rush the process. Over time, patterns will emerge. You will notice recurring triggers. You will see consistent strengths. You will identify habits that either elevate or sabotage your leadership. Awareness transforms vague frustration into specific action. Another exercise involves feedback. Choose 3 people you trust. Ask them this question. What is one strength you see in me that I may underestimate, and one area where I could grow? Listen without defensiveness. You do not have to agree with every word, but you must be willing to consider it. Leaders who cannot receive feedback cannot expand their influence. Your internal dialogue also deserves examination. Many individuals speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to others. They replay mistakes endlessly. They magnify flaws. They downplay victories. Over time, this negative script becomes a belief system. Replace self-condemnation with constructive honesty. Instead of saying, "I always fail," say, "I did not succeed this time, but I am learning." Instead of declaring, "I am not capable," affirm, "I am developing the skills I need. I am responsible for my growth. I can learn what I do not yet know. My past does not dictate my potential." These are not empty affirmations. They are deliberate mental conditioning. Just as physical strength requires repeated resistance, mental strength requires repeated reframing. Consider the resilience of Malala Yousafzai. After surviving a violent attack intended to silence her advocacy for education, she could have retreated in fear. Instead, she reflected deeply on her purpose. She chose to see her experience not as an end, but as an amplification of her voice. That perspective required extraordinary inner clarity. Her leadership was not defined by the attack. It was defined by her response. What you focus on expands. If you dwell on limitations, they grow larger. If you concentrate on possibilities, your capacity expands. However, cultivating a resilient perspective does not mean ignoring pain or pretending challenges do not exist. It means acknowledging reality while refusing to be imprisoned by it. It means recognizing that setbacks are data, not verdicts. Take a moment now and reflect. What belief about yourself has been holding you back? Who would you be without that belief? What action would you take if you trusted your ability to adapt? Write those answers down. This is not theoretical. This is practical leadership development. Another powerful practice is intentional solitude. In a world filled with constant noise, notifications, and opinions, quiet reflection becomes rare. Schedule time each week to sit without distraction. No phone, no music, just your thoughts and a notebook. Ask yourself what truly matters. Are your daily actions aligned with your long-term values? Are you pursuing goals that reflect your authentic aspirations, or merely chasing external validation? Leaders who lack inner alignment eventually experience burnout or moral compromise. Leaders who cultivate self-understanding act with consistency. They do not change direction with every trend. They are anchored. Your habits are also mirrors. Examine how you spend your mornings, how you respond to stress, how you treat people when you are tired. These patterns reveal more about your leadership than any public speech. If you notice habits that weaken you, do not despair. Replace them deliberately. If distraction dominates your day, implement focused work intervals. If impatience surfaces frequently, practice pausing before responding. Small, repeated adjustments create significant transformation over time. Remember this: you are not fixed, you are evolving. Every challenge is shaping your resilience. Every failure is refining your strategy. Every honest reflection is strengthening your foundation. There will be moments when growth feels slow, moments when you question whether your effort is making a difference. In those seasons, trust the process. Roots grow deeper before trees rise taller. The most powerful leaders are not those who never struggle. They are those who continuously examine themselves, recalibrate, and return stronger. They understand that mastering their inner world is the prerequisite for influencing the outer one. As you develop deeper awareness and cultivate a disciplined perspective, something remarkable happens. Your decisions become intentional rather than reactive. Your confidence becomes grounded rather than fragile. Your leadership becomes steady rather than situational. And once you know who you are, once your perspective is aligned with growth rather than fear, the next step becomes clear. It is time to translate that clarity into direction. It is time to move from reflection to deliberate action, from internal transformation to structured ambition. Because understanding yourself is powerful, yet channeling that understanding into defined objectives and strategic planning is what turns potential into tangible success. What separates a wish from a vision? What transforms potential into performance? Clarity, direction, deliberate action. It is not enough to know who you are. It is not enough to believe in growth. Without defined objectives, even the strongest character drifts. Discipline without direction becomes exhaustion. Passion without structure becomes frustration. If you want to lead with integrity and impact, you must decide where you are going. Many people move through life reacting rather than designing. They wake up, respond to messages, attend meetings, handle problems, and repeat the cycle. Days turn into months. Months turn into years. Activity increases, yet progress feels uncertain. The reason is simple. Movement is not the same as advancement. Where there is no vision, there is no momentum. A goal written down becomes a commitment. Dreams demand deadlines. When you define a clear target, your energy gains focus. Decisions become easier. Distractions become obvious. Time becomes intentional. Consider Elon Musk. Regardless of opinions about his style, one principle is undeniable. He sets audacious, specific objectives. Reusable rockets, electric vehicles at scale, interplanetary travel. These were not vague ambitions. They were articulated missions with structured plans, timelines, and measurable milestones. Every breakthrough followed detailed engineering roadmaps and relentless iteration. Vision alone did not build innovation. Structured execution did. Or reflect on Serena Williams. Her success was not accidental talent unleashed randomly. From a young age, her training was intentional and systemized. Goals were broken into daily practice routines, tournament strategies, fitness benchmarks, and performance analysis. Victory on the court was the visible result of invisible planning repeated consistently. Achievement leaves clues. Those clues point to preparation. So how do you translate ambition into achievement? Start with meaning. Ask yourself this: what do I truly want to build, become, or contribute? Not what impresses others, not what trends suggest. What aligns with your values and long-term character? When a goal resonates with your principles, commitment strengthens. When it is disconnected from your identity, motivation fades quickly. Step 1. Define the destination clearly. Instead of saying, "I want to be successful," specify what success means. Do you want to lead a team of 10 within 3 years? Publish a book within 18 months. Improve your physical endurance to complete a marathon by next year. Precision eliminates confusion. Step 2. Break the vision into measurable milestones. Large goals can intimidate. Smaller benchmarks empower. If your objective is to launch a business, outline stages. Research the market within 30 days. Develop a prototype within 90 days. Secure initial clients within 6 months. Each milestone becomes a checkpoint, reinforcing progress. Step 3. Translate milestones into weekly actions. This is where character becomes practical. Ambition without daily discipline dissolves. Identify the specific tasks required each week. Allocate time on your calendar. Protect that time as you would an important meeting. Step 4. Anticipate obstacles before they arise. What distractions typically derail you? Social media, fatigue, fear of criticism. Identify them now. Create safeguards. Limit screen time. Schedule rest intentionally. Seek accountability from a trusted mentor or colleague. Step 5. Review and refine consistently. At the end of each month, evaluate your trajectory. Are you advancing as planned? If not, adjust strategy without abandoning the mission. Flexibility in method is wise. Abandonment of purpose too quickly is not. Consistency compounds. Small disciplines repeated daily create extraordinary outcomes. Planning is an act of self-respect. Procrastination often disguises itself as perfectionism. You wait for the ideal moment, the perfect resources, the flawless conditions. Yet progress belongs to those who begin imperfectly and improve continuously. Ask yourself, what task have I been postponing that would move me forward significantly? What fear is truly beneath that delay? Name it, confront it, then act anyway. One powerful technique to overcome hesitation is the 5-minute rule. Commit to working on a task for just 5 minutes. Often, starting is the hardest part. Once momentum builds, continuation becomes natural. Action dissolves anxiety. Discipline also requires environmental design. If you aim to write daily, create a dedicated workspace free from distraction. If you intend to study consistently, prepare materials the night before. Reduce friction between intention and execution. Remember, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Consider Thomas Edison. He did not stumble upon the light bulb through inspiration alone. He approached invention systematically, testing thousands of materials, documenting results, refining processes. His laboratory functioned with structure and repetition. Persistence was guided by methodical experimentation. Each failed attempt informed the next iteration. Planning did not eliminate failure. It transformed failure into feedback. You, too, can build a process that supports your aspirations. Another essential principle is prioritization. Not all tasks carry equal weight. Identify the activities that yield the greatest long-term impact. Focus your prime energy on those first. Answering minor emails may feel productive, but completing strategic work advances your mission. Time is finite. Character is revealed in how you allocate it. To maintain focus, establish clear boundaries. Inform others of your committed work periods. Turn off non-essential notifications. Practice single-tasking rather than fragmented multitasking. Deep work produces exceptional results. There will be days when enthusiasm wanes. On those days, rely on commitment rather than emotion. Revisit your written objectives. Visualize the outcome vividly. Remind yourself why the journey matters. You can do this. Your future is shaped by today's discipline. Progress is earned, not granted. Celebrate milestones responsibly. Acknowledge improvement without becoming complacent. Gratitude fuels perseverance. Leadership rooted in character demands that your goals extend beyond personal gain. Consider how your ambitions serve others. Does your business solve meaningful problems? Does your advancement create opportunities for your team? Does your growth inspire your family? When your objectives include contribution, resilience strengthens. Purpose amplifies persistence. Let me ask you something important. If you continue at your current pace, where will you be in 5 years? If you apply structured planning and unwavering discipline, how different could that future look? Visualize both scenarios. One shaped by drift, the other shaped by design. The choice is yours. No one else can define your priorities. No one else can execute your daily tasks. External support is valuable, but responsibility remains personal. That realization is empowering. You control your effort. You control your preparation. You control your response to setbacks. Write your primary objective down today. Break it into measurable phases. Schedule your first actionable step within the next 24 hours. Not next week. Not when circumstances feel ideal. Now, momentum begins with immediate movement. And as you build structure around your ambition, remember this truth. Planning does not guarantee a smooth path. Even the most detailed blueprint encounters resistance. Timelines shift. Unexpected barriers emerge. Critics question. Resources fluctuate. However, a clear plan provides stability when uncertainty appears. It allows you to adapt intelligently rather than react emotionally. It anchors you when circumstances test your resolve. Because eventually, every leader faces moments that challenge commitment. Moments when progress slows. Moments when obstacles seem larger than preparation. And that is where the true strength of your character, reinforced by deliberate planning, will be tested. In the next stage of this journey, we will confront those realities directly. We will explore how to stand firm when adversity intensifies, how to transform setbacks into stepping stones, and how to lead with resilience when the path becomes demanding. What do you do when the plan falls apart? When the opportunity disappears? When the door you worked so hard to open suddenly closes? This is the moment that defines leadership. Not when everything aligns, but when everything resists. Every meaningful pursuit encounters resistance. Projects stall. Finances tighten. Trusted partners disappoint. Health fluctuates. Confidence wavers. These are not signs that you are incapable. They are signs that you are progressing into territory that demands growth. The path toward impact is rarely smooth. It is marked by uncertainty, criticism, rejection, and unexpected detours. The question is not whether you will face adversity. The question is how you will respond when you do. Adversity is not the end of the story. Pressure refines what comfort conceals. Resilience is built, not inherited. Many individuals abandon their ambitions at the first significant obstacle. They interpret difficulty as a verdict. They assume that struggle signals inadequacy. Yet the truth is profoundly different. Difficulty is often confirmation that you are attempting something worthwhile. Consider J.K. Rowling. Before the global success of her novels, she experienced financial hardship, personal loss, and multiple rejections from publishers. Her manuscript was declined repeatedly. It would have been understandable to conclude that her writing was not good enough. Instead, she persisted. She refined her work. She continued submitting it. The same story that faced rejection eventually became a worldwide phenomenon. Rejection was not the end. It was the refining process. Or reflect on Steve Jobs. He was removed from the very company he helped create. Imagine the weight of that moment. Public dismissal, personal disappointment, professional uncertainty. Yet during that season, he founded new ventures, learned invaluable lessons, and matured as a leader. When he returned years later, he guided the organization into one of its most innovative eras. The setback was painful, but it expanded his perspective and strengthened his leadership capacity. These stories are not exceptional because of fame. They are powerful because of response. Setbacks reveal what is rooted within you. You may not be facing public rejection or corporate dismissal. Your obstacles might be quieter but equally heavy. A failed examination, a lost client, a strained relationship, an idea that did not gain traction, a season where progress feels invisible. In those moments, doubt whispers persuasive lies. Maybe this is not for you. Perhaps you should settle. Others are more capable. Pause. Breathe. Question those thoughts. Ask yourself, is this obstacle permanent, or is it temporary? Is this failure final, or is it feedback? Am I interpreting this event accurately or emotionally? Resilience begins with interpretation. Mental toughness does not mean suppressing emotion. It means managing it constructively. Allow yourself to feel disappointment, but do not allow it to dictate your identity. A setback is an event. It is not who you are. One actionable approach is reframing. When something goes wrong, write down 3 lessons it offers. Even if the lesson is simple, such as improving preparation or communication, document it. This shifts your mind from victimhood to responsibility. Responsibility restores power. Another practice involves controlled discomfort. Intentionally engage in activities that stretch your limits. Exercise when you feel tired. Speak up when you feel hesitant. Learn a skill that intimidates you. By choosing discomfort in small doses, you train your nervous system to tolerate larger challenges. Courage becomes conditioned. Strength grows through resistance. I am capable of adapting. Every challenge carries instruction. Resilience also requires perspective. Consider Nelson Mandela. Decades of imprisonment could have produced resentment. Instead, he cultivated patience and vision. He studied his circumstances. He developed empathy even for his captors. When freedom arrived, he possessed the composure and moral authority necessary to unify a divided nation. His endurance was not passive. It was purposeful. Ask yourself, what if this season is preparing you for responsibilities you cannot yet see? What if the delay is developing discipline? What if the hardship is strengthening humility? Obstacles often expose hidden weaknesses. That exposure is uncomfortable, but it is invaluable. If criticism reveals gaps in your skill, improve them. If failure exposes inconsistency, establish structure. If pressure uncovers impatience, cultivate restraint. Growth rarely occurs in ease. Another essential element of perseverance is community. Resilient leaders do not isolate themselves. They seek counsel. They learn from mentors. They surround themselves with individuals who challenge and encourage them. Pride resists support. Wisdom embraces it. Reflect on Michael Phelps. Despite extraordinary talent, his journey included personal struggles and public scrutiny. His return to excellence was supported by coaches, family, and a renewed commitment to disciplined routines. He did not rely solely on natural ability. He leaned on structure and support systems. You, too, need reinforcement. Identify people who elevate your standards. Share your challenges honestly. Accountability transforms intention into sustained effort. Resilience also demands physical stewardship. Fatigue amplifies discouragement. Neglected health weakens resolve. Prioritize rest, nutrition, and movement. Mental endurance is closely linked to physical vitality. A depleted body struggles to sustain a determined mind. When facing prolonged difficulty, narrow your focus. Do not attempt to solve the entire future at once. Concentrate on the next constructive action. Send a proposal. Revise the strategy. Make the call. Improvement compounds through small, deliberate steps. What can I control right now? That question restores clarity in chaos. There will be moments when progress appears invisible. Seeds grow underground before they emerge above the surface. Continue cultivating your effort even when recognition is absent. Integrity is proven in private persistence. Be honest with yourself, but refuse self-condemnation. Evaluate mistakes without attaching shame. Correct errors without abandoning ambition. You are stronger than this moment. You have overcome before, and you will overcome again. This obstacle is shaping your endurance. Leadership anchored in character does not collapse under pressure. It bends, adapts, and strengthens. It understands that influence earned through comfort is fragile, but influence forged through adversity is durable. Let me ask you something important. If every obstacle disappeared, would you become stronger or weaker? If every path were easy, would your discipline deepen or diminish? Resistance refines resolve. The next time you encounter a setback, choose response over reaction. Pause before speaking. Reflect before deciding. Extract lessons before moving forward. These habits compound into resilience. And remember, perseverance is not stubbornness. It is strategic endurance. It is the willingness to adjust methods while remaining loyal to purpose. Your journey will include storms. That is certain. Yet storms test the strength of foundations. If your character is anchored in integrity, humility, and disciplined preparation, you will not be destroyed by turbulence. You will be defined by how you navigate it. As you continue advancing, do not merely survive challenges. Grow through them. Let adversity expand your patience, sharpen your judgment, and deepen your empathy. These qualities transform ordinary leadership into extraordinary influence. Because ultimately, resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It is about emerging wiser, steadier, and more determined each time you face it. And once you recognize that obstacles are not barriers, but builders, a new energy emerges. Fear loosens its grip. Confidence strengthens. Momentum begins to return. Now it becomes time to move beyond reflection and endurance. It becomes time to channel your strengthened resolve into decisive steps forward, to act boldly, and to sustain the momentum you have fought so hard to build. When will you begin? Next month? Next year? When you feel more confident? When circumstances feel perfect? Or today? There is a decisive difference between intention and execution. Many people intend to change. They intend to grow. They intend to lead with integrity. Yet intention without action slowly erodes confidence. Each delayed step whispers the same message, not now. And over time, not now becomes never. Leadership grounded in character demands movement, not dramatic announcements, not fleeting bursts of enthusiasm. Steady, repeated action. Small actions, repeated daily, build extraordinary lives. Consistency turns effort into excellence. Start before you feel ready. You already understand your values. You have defined your direction. You have prepared for resistance. Now the question becomes simple and powerful. Will you act? Dreams are not achieved through intensity alone. They are achieved through rhythm. A disciplined cadence of effort sustained long after excitement fades. Motivation fluctuates. Commitment must not. Consider Kobe Bryant. His legacy was not built on occasional brilliance. It was forged through relentless daily practice. Early mornings in the gym, repetitive drills, meticulous study of opponents. While others relied on talent, he relied on disciplined repetition. Excellence was not an event. It was a habit. Or reflect on Marie Curie. Her groundbreaking discoveries were not the result of a single moment of inspiration. They emerged from years of patient experimentation, detailed documentation, and unwavering focus. The laboratory became a place of daily dedication. Persistence, not speed, shaped her contribution to science. What do these examples reveal? Greatness is procedural. It is built through structured routines that align with long-term vision. If you want to lead effectively, your calendar must reflect your priorities. Aspirations written on paper mean little without scheduled execution. Let us make this practical. First, convert your major objective into daily non-negotiables. If your aim is to improve communication skills, commit to reading 20 minutes per day and practicing deliberate speaking in meetings. If your goal is to build physical endurance, schedule consistent training sessions at fixed times each week. If you intend to launch a venture, dedicate specific hours exclusively to research, development, or outreach. Habits remove the burden of constant decision-making. When action becomes routine, resistance weakens. Second, design your environment to support discipline. Keep necessary tools visible and accessible. Remove distractions that compete for attention. Prepare the next day's priorities the night before. Preparation reduces friction. Third, track progress visibly. Use a journal, calendar, or digital tracker. Mark each completed day of effort. There is psychological power in observing continuity. When you see a chain of consistent action, you become less willing to break it. Fourth, protect your focus fiercely. Distraction is the silent enemy of momentum. Limit unnecessary scrolling. Schedule communication windows instead of constant monitoring. Practice deep, uninterrupted work. Quality of attention determines quality of output. Ask yourself, what one habit, if performed daily, would transform my trajectory within a year? What routine can I begin today that aligns with my character and purpose? Begin there. You may feel tempted to overhaul everything at once. Resist that impulse. Sustainable growth emerges from manageable adjustments. Add one disciplined practice. Master it. Then expand. Gradual scaling produces durable results. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. Consistency outperforms occasional intensity. You can do this. There will be days when fatigue whispers excuses. Days when progress seems invisible. On those days, remember why you started. Revisit your written commitments. Remind yourself that leadership is not built in comfort. It is shaped through perseverance. Consider Walt Disney. Before building an entertainment empire, he faced bankruptcy and repeated rejection. His early ventures failed. Investors doubted his concepts. Yet he continued refining his vision and executing daily steps. Sketch by sketch, proposal by proposal, the eventual success of his creations was not sudden fortune. It was accumulated persistence. Consistency also demands self-compassion balanced with accountability. If you miss a day, do not abandon the mission. Resume immediately. One lapse does not erase progress. However, repeated rationalization does. Distinguish between recovery and avoidance. Build rituals that anchor your day. A structured morning routine. A fixed review session each evening. A weekly evaluation of priorities. Rituals stabilize ambition. They convert ideals into lived behavior. Leadership rooted in character extends beyond personal achievement. Your consistency influences others. When your team observes reliability, trust strengthens. When your family witnesses dedication, respect deepens. Your routines communicate values more powerfully than speeches ever could. Let me ask you something significant. If someone observed your daily habits without hearing your goals, what conclusions would they draw about your aspirations? Would your actions confirm your intentions? Alignment between words and behavior is the hallmark of credible leadership. Momentum grows quietly. Each completed task strengthens identity. Each disciplined day reinforces belief. Over weeks and months, you begin to see tangible transformation. Skills sharpen. Confidence stabilizes. Results compound. Do not underestimate the power of one focused hour, one honest conversation, one disciplined workout, one deliberate improvement. These moments, repeated consistently, alter trajectories. You are not required to produce miracles overnight. You are required to show up repeatedly. Start today, not because conditions are perfect, but because delay diminishes clarity. Take one decisive step before this day ends. Send the message. Outline the proposal. Begin the chapter. Initiate the conversation. Action generates energy. Energy sustains momentum. Remember, character is not proven in grand gestures. It is revealed in daily faithfulness to your commitments. When you act consistently, you demonstrate reliability to yourself. Self-trust expands. And when self-trust expands, leadership deepens. There will be seasons of rapid progress and seasons of slow refinement. Both are necessary. Maintain your rhythm. Adjust strategies when required, but do not abandon disciplined effort. Progress is built in the quiet hours. Your future is shaped by repeated choices. Commitment transforms potential into performance. Imagine yourself 1 year from now, having honored your daily commitments. How different will your competence be? How much stronger will your confidence feel? How much greater will your influence become? Now imagine the alternative. A year of postponed effort, sporadic action, unfulfilled intention. The contrast is striking. You hold the authority to choose your pattern. Leadership with character demands integrity not only in values, but in follow-through. Decide what matters. Schedule it. Execute it. Review it. Repeat. This cycle, sustained over time, constructs excellence. And as you continue taking deliberate steps forward, something profound happens. You begin to recognize the transformation within you. The doubts that once dominated grow quieter. The habits that once seemed difficult become natural. The identity you aspired to embody becomes visible in your daily conduct. This is where growth matures into wisdom. This is where experience invites deeper evaluation. Now it is time to pause, to look back at the journey you have undertaken, to assess the person you are becoming, and to draw together the lessons that will guide your leadership moving forward. What kind of leader are you becoming? Not tomorrow, not someday, but today. Pause for a moment and truly consider that question. After everything we have explored, after every insight about growth, discipline, perseverance, and execution, it all returns to one central truth. Leadership is not a position you reach. It is a character you build. You have seen how clarity about who you are creates confidence. When you understand your strengths, acknowledge your weaknesses, and confront your habits honestly, you gain control over your direction. Awareness is not self-criticism. It is self-command. You have recognized how perspective shapes performance. The way you interpret failure determines whether you retreat or rise. A strong internal framework transforms obstacles into instruction. You have discovered the power of defining objectives with precision. Vague ambition leads to vague results. Specific, meaningful targets channel your energy into measurable progress. You have examined the necessity of endurance. Every worthwhile pursuit invites resistance. The difference between those who quit and those who succeed is not luck. It is resilience. And finally, you have embraced the undeniable force of disciplined action. Dreams do not materialize through hope alone. They are constructed through daily, consistent effort. All of these elements connect to one foundation: character. Character is the compass when decisions are difficult. Character is the anchor when pressure intensifies. Character is the quiet strength that keeps you aligned when shortcuts tempt you. Consider again the relentless dedication of Michael Jordan. His championships were visible to the world, but his preparation was private. Countless hours of training, repeated shots after practice, mental rehearsal, and competitive fire shaped his performance. When he faced setbacks, including early playoff defeats, he did not retreat. He recalibrated. He returned stronger. Talent contributed, but character sustained. Or reflect on Nelson Mandela. His leadership was not defined by authority, but by integrity. Decades of imprisonment tested his resolve. Yet he emerged with a vision grounded in unity rather than bitterness. His influence endured because his principles remained intact under pressure. These examples are not distant legends meant to intimidate you. They are reminders of what disciplined character can accomplish. Now ask yourself, if they had surrendered during their lowest moments, what would the world have lost? If you surrender now, what might your community lose? Your leadership matters more than you realize. Some of you are building businesses. Some are raising families. Some are leading teams, classrooms, or communities. Some are simply striving to become stronger versions of yourselves. Regardless of scale, the principles remain identical. Your habits shape your future. Integrity outlasts applause. Consistency compounds. There will be days when you feel uncertain, days when progress seems slow, days when comparison threatens your confidence. In those moments, return to the fundamentals. Know who you are. Guard your perspective. Refine your goals. Endure hardship. Act consistently. You do not need extraordinary circumstances to lead extraordinarily. You need extraordinary commitment to ordinary disciplines. Let this settle in your mind. You are capable of more than you have demonstrated so far. You are stronger than your latest setback. You are not defined by your worst moment. Leadership begins internally. It begins when you choose responsibility over excuses. When you choose preparation over procrastination. When you choose growth over comfort. So here is the challenge. Do not let this message become inspiration without implementation. Before this day ends, identify one concrete action that aligns with your vision. Write it down. Schedule it. Execute it. Call the mentor. Start the outline. Begin the training. Repair the relationship. Do not wait for a surge of emotion. Move because commitment demands it. Imagine yourself 1 year from now if you apply these principles daily. Imagine the confidence that will emerge from sustained discipline. Imagine the respect you will earn from consistent integrity. Imagine the lives influenced by your example. Now imagine doing nothing different. The gap between those two futures is shaped by the decisions you make today. Act with courage. Lead with integrity. Persist with discipline. These are not slogans. They are standards. As you step forward, remember that leadership is not about dominance. It is about responsibility. It is about becoming the kind of person others can trust when circumstances grow uncertain. You do not need permission to begin. You do not need flawless conditions. You need resolve. Stand up internally. Decide that your character will not fluctuate with convenience. Decide that your effort will not depend on applause. Decide that your growth will be intentional. And when challenges return, as they inevitably will, meet them with the confidence of someone who has prepared. Meet them with the calm of someone who knows their values. Meet them with the strength of someone who refuses to quit. The journey toward meaningful leadership is not always easy, but it is profoundly worthwhile. Every disciplined choice adds weight to your credibility. Every resilient response strengthens your foundation. Every aligned action builds influence that endures. So walk forward with clarity. Work with consistency. Respond with resilience. Lead with character. The world does not merely need more voices. It needs more examples. Let yours be one of them. You are ready. Start now.